if I were to go out and show a property today, one of the things that I would look for would be, is this property suitable for my client? Does it have the features that my client is looking for? And then, truthfully, the next thing that I'm looking for is how much am I going to be compensated? Okay, because if I'm going to be compensated X, if I sell this particular property, and on this particular one I'm going to be compensated X and Y, I'm going to show this particular property first. And not only do I believe that, but I'm going to convince, back when I sold the houses, my seller that same reason. You want to be able to attract not only as many buyers as you possibly can, but you want to try and attract the agent who is not going to just write it over, throw it against the wall, hope it gets accepted, and at the end of the year maybe they've sold 4 or 5 houses. You want to try and attract a true professional realtor, one that has their buyers qualified, one that knows how to close the deals. And those are the people that I think are looking for the greatest amount of compensation, just like any other job they have.
I think when you look at your HUD statement, the closing statement, you'll find out that that listing agent is not getting as much as you think they're getting, because they have to split it with the asset manager. Okay, so again, it's not always what it appears to be, but the way I would charge it, I don't know.
Well, that's honest.
That's just an honest answer.
Do not offer a flat screen TV to the selling agent. And I'm going to explain why. Do not offer a flat screen TV to the selling. A lot of them have. Oh yeah. There's been a lot of realtors who have lost their job with that broker for that very reason. Because number one, the commission belongs to the broker. It does not belong to the realtor. The realtor shows the property thinking they're going to get this flat screen TV. Well, guess who gets it? The broker. The broker, the agent actually takes it home and hooks it up. We've seen that one too. Okay. So please don't offer a flat screen TV. Now, part of our issue is not only does our business change, title company's business has changed. On the cases of REOs, you don't always see a full HUD one. You don't necessarily know what the commissions are in some cases for the selling agent, or the listing agent, right? There are things that we're starting to see coming out of some of these title companies. They're kind of scary. You're not seeing where the taxes paid. You have to assume they are. When you call the title company down south and say, I would like to see a full HUD one, they say you're not entitled to it. Jack, have you run into that?
I realize that, but I'm not really running into it.
I mean the TV.
No, I've seen this a lot lately on the REOs. We don't know what all was paid for. And at some point in time, I'd like the title companies to give us a little section on that also, because we're finding different things on some of these REOs that we didn't see before. It's a whole evolving business right now. But don't give away flat screen TV if you want to keep your job.
When it comes to cooperating broker, cooperating with other brokers, I always look at 50-50. That's just what I do. But I've seen situations where, particularly we already know, commission at a certain level, and then the rest is a certain level. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I look at it.
Call it that. Yeah, we're going to move to the same time. Hey, I'm already sitting. What is it? Bob, look at yes, bristling up. Okay. So we're going to run over now to this idea, again, we put it in quotes. Stealing the other agent's buyers. This kind of all folds to that procuring cause situation. We know that, in these tough times, a lot of times agents can spend a considerable amount of time working with a buyer, showing them a multitude of properties, maybe even writing them up on one property, and that transaction doesn't go through, and then lo and behold, they're back at it with another agent, and that agent successfully closes with what you consider to be your buyer. You spend all that and you got absolutely no compensation out of the transaction. So I'm gonna start with Bob on this one, because I know, Bob, you've had some experience with regard to that.
Building buyers?
Well, no, no, no. I know Bob has had some experience whereby agents in his office have invested time working with buyers, and then somebody else writes up the transaction, and they just decide we're not going to just lay down and roll over on this situation. We're going to do something about it. So Bob, why don't you give us a little insight on that?
I will say this, there's 38 million people in the state of California. That's a lot of buyers. When you all agree, and usually when you lose a customer that you invested a lot of time and effort in, it's because of one of three things. One, the customer goes somewhere else, probably because you have too many customers that you're working with. We try to identify a buyer when they sign a purchase contract. Before they sign a purchase contract and have given a deposit, we call that person a customer. So when that customer/buyer goes somewhere else, it's probably because you cannot service that buyer every weekend or every day or return their phone calls, number one. Number two, they probably feel by working with the listing agent, they have more leverage in obtaining that inventory or that property. And then number three, they probably got some new information, and which moved them from working with you to working with someone else. Now, we've all been through that. However, usually when you show that customer a house and they go write that offer up with someone else, then you have a situation. And from my experience, we actually took that to mediation, and we won, not the referral fee, but the whole compensation. So if you have shown a customer a house, and they seen that house and they wanted that house, but they used another agent, you will be compensated for it.
I think it really comes down to holding ourselves to a higher level of professionalism. I would recommend before you work with the buyer, is explain to the buyer how you work and how the process works. And that there may be situations where they're going to try to be agents that are going to persuade them to go a different way. You need to let them know how it works, and that if you're going to take the time out of your day to research the property for them and to show them property that you expect that they're going to buy a property through you. If they don't, and you believe that they're with foul play, then I would go through the process of the grievance and professional standards and state your case and allow the process to take care of itself and move on to something more professional and more positive.
I actually still do four occasionally. And you answer the phone, are you working with an agent? Oh, no, I don't have an agent. Okay, so you spend the time, effort, energy to look up the property, give them the information, email it, fax it, whatever. And I said, now would you like to see the property? Oh, well, I'll call my agent. What do you tell these people? They don't really want to. Or the ones that call and say, my agent told me to call you because they're busy. How many times did you get that phone call? My agent told me to call you because they're too busy to talk to me right now. Try to get the person in, try to sit them down, explain the process. Like I said, they've got to understand the process. And here again, document that you have told them the process, that you've explained all this to them, so they really do understand it. Because if you do have to go before the board or grievance committee, you need to document that you have done everything correctly. Now, procuring cause has changed dramatically over the last few years. It used to be whoever showed the property, et cetera, you were the procuring cause. Now it's pretty much a signature on a contract. But I have seen the same client sign 3 contracts with 3 different agents. Yeah. And then you wonder really what the client's doing and who's representing. So just be sure that they understand as well as possible what you do and how you do it and what your job is for them.
One other thing, on that agency representation disclosure, when you're representing a buyer or a seller, is not an area there for the
they're working with someone else, then, I advise them to, continue to work with that person. I really don't have the time to, deal with buyers that's not gonna work with me, you know, so basically, pretty much that's kind of kept me out of the situation of,